In order to obtain an affordable and cost-effective Mercedes-Benz truck, a Pakistani truck owner bought this accident-damaged vehicle at a low price of 2.5 million rupees. He plans to repair it and continue using it. Although the entire truck appears to be in a state of disrepair, and the original owner has already passed away, the current owner values its cost-effectiveness. The mechanics need to dismantle the entire truck and then repair each part one by one. The difficulty is almost the same as rebuilding a new truck. After 2 hours of disassembly work, the mechanics had removed most of the attachments and could now open the cab normally. At first glance, the engine and transmission seemed to be in good condition, but they needed to remove the cab to be sure. Since they didn't have a dedicated crane, they had to use a forklift to take the cab out. This process seemed dangerous, and in reality, it was far from safe. If nothing unexpected happens, something unexpected is bound to occur. Suddenly, the cab began to sway violently, but fortunately, the mechanic reacted quickly, though it gave him quite a scare. After removing the cab, they lifted out the radiator and condenser, which appeared to be intact. However, the most important parts were the engine and transmission. If these are in good condition, it would be a significant gain. Once the engine and front axle were removed, they began correcting the chassis. But since there wasn't a specialized chassis correction tool, they had to straighten it bit by bit manually. During this process, two mechanics needed to work in perfect coordination, one heating the area and the other using a jack to push it back into place. Putting the chassis back into place is just the first step. The mechanics also need to use hammers to pound the deformed parts of the chassis to achieve a smooth and corrected result. After completing the chassis correction, the mechanics can reinstall the front axle assembly back into place. Unlike other vehicles, this truck's front axle has only 2 leaf springs on each side, which is indeed unusual. Even though it's a second-hand vehicle, the mechanics aim to restore it to a like-new condition. They will apply putty and sand down any uneven areas on the frame to achieve a smooth finish. After sanding is completed, the entire frame will be sprayed with a coat of paint that matches the original finish. Once the paint has fully dried, the mechanics can use a forklift to reposition and install the engine and transmission assembly. This engine is a V8, which looks quite powerful. Unfortunately, the transmission is automatic, which might take away some of the driving pleasure for the owner and also tends to have higher repair costs and lower durability. With the help of an impact wrench, the mechanics quickly install all the components of the chassis. They use a forklift to reinstall the repaired cab, which is relatively straightforward, similar to installing leaf springs. After aligning the holes, they simply insert the pins back into place. Since only a primer was applied during the repair, a fresh coat of color paint is needed now. Although the mechanics are still wearing sandals, they remain quite professional, with their noses and mouths covered securely. Once the paint is completed and dried, they can reinstall the accessories such as the toolbox, steps, mirrors, and grille. Once all the accessories are installed and labeled, the vehicle's repair work is complete. It's now another well-refurbished vehicle ready for use.